Hey, it's Sam with Just Grillin' Outdoor Living. We finally have our Kettle Joe demo unit here, so let's get this thing built. We've done 2 videos on the Kettle Joe, and it's always just been using pictures and renderings of what the grill will look like. We finally got our hands on the demo unit. We're gonna assemble it today. We're gonna unbox it just like if you were taking it home and putting it together yourself. I do wanna set the expectation, we are not cooking on it in this video, but subscribe to our channel because we will have some cook videos on the Kettle Joe. It's just not this video. So let's go ahead and open up this box and start getting this thing put together. Our box looks like it's seen better days. It's a little kind of beat up on the outside, but we'll see how well they pack these things on the inside. You're not going to be able to tell from looking at the box on the outside. The grill is listed at 132 pounds, but this thing, I think is much heavier than 132 pounds. So it seems like it's probably packed in there pretty well, but we'll find out once we start opening it up. So it's definitely packed in here pretty well. It looks like they've got foam on at least around the top here, and that's gonna be our SloRoller for sure. Maybe our cooking grates packed on top here. Those look pretty good. Let's put this off to the side. SloRoller top. I don't know what this is, maybe the caster wheels or something of the grill, but we'll find out. All right, actually this is not the SloRoller. I bet you this is the dome. So that's gonna be our thermometer right there. So they pack it in. This is the dome. So it's the base of the grill. Looks like we've got our Firebox basket, side shelves off to the side, and then each of the 4 leg walls are each around the side. So this will probably be a little chaotic of a way to open a box, but I'm just gonna come down the sides here, kind of open it up in a couple different ways so you can see what it is. Don't want the shelf to fall, so let's pull that off. And voila, we have the box open. Let's start taking this stuff out. So these are gonna be our legs. Put these off to the side. So we've got these 2 side handles. Oh, this is the heaviest part. Base. Move that off. We got some foam. Get rid of that. And then this is the SloRoller. What I thought was the SloRoller at first, because that's how they pack the other ceramic grills, is they put the SloRoller on the top in those, so that's why I thought they would do it a similar way. But down here at the bottom, that's gonna be our SloRoller. And that's how they've got everything packed in there. I'm gonna leave that in the foam. Let's take a look. So we'll open up first little box and see what this is. There's 2 of these, so I'm thinking maybe these are wheels. I thought that first big box might be, but might be wrong. Let's see. Yep. So there's 1 wheel, 2nd wheel. So I'm gonna assume that these are our other 2 wheels in this box. No. So in the other box is going to be my slide out ash drawer and dome handle. So we gotta put the dome handle on, it looks like. So it looks like there's a little more assembly than the typical Classic 2, Classic 3, Big Joe 2, Big Joe 3, but nothing, I'd say, too overly complicated here. So let's see if we can find our other 2 wheels. We got 4, so we gotta have 4 wheels. Here we go. So they give you a pack of screws and nuts and a couple Allen wrenches and this little tool. So it looks like you probably don't need any tools handy to put this together. Looks like they're gonna give you everything right out of the box. We've got our guide to Kamado cooking. I'm gonna skim through this and see if the assembly instructions are in here, and it looks like I have found them. This feels like our dome cap for up top, our little rain cap. And let's take a peek. I don't know what this is based on feeling it. Our hinge. Okay. Our last two wheels. So we've got all of our wheels. We've got our hinge. That all comes in kind of this bigger box. So it looks like we've got everything that we need to put this grill together. So let's go ahead and start looking through the instructions and start from the beginning. So it looks like they have us putting the legs, attaching those to the grill first. So let's go ahead and clear this thing out. So the first step, it says, is to remove it looks like there's 4 nuts around here down where the black part meets the red kettle part, metal down here. So it says to take the nuts off, and we don't have a use for the nuts, it says, but don't get rid of the screws and washer. It says we are gonna need those. Let's do this real quick for all 4 of them. And then we're gonna be putting, it says for steps 2 and 3, we're gonna be reusing these screws and washers to put the legs on. So it's nice on the front and the back of the nuts and screws and the washers and the tools that they list the corresponding part, just like how it is in the book. So that way, even if once you tear open the back side here, you can still kind of flip it around and still see in each little compartment, plastic compartment, the corresponding part. So I like that they do that. I'm gonna do my best, sliced it kind of down the center there, not to tear it up, just so that way I don't have to flip it around. So I'm gonna need 6 of these. So the legs have 2 spots right there and 1 right there. So we're gonna line these up inside the grill and then slide the bolt in. So you'll see what I'm talking about, how you have the 3 different bolt parts right there on the leg. When you come on the inside, you'll see the 2 right there, and then that 3rd one down there. So let's put it on. So it looks like the easiest way is going to be to put 2 of the screws through here first, and then kind of try and get the leg tilted back a little bit, and then if you can, hand tighten them just a tad. And let's see if my book is telling me to tighten them down. And we want to use our Allen wrench. All right, so it's pretty easy. I've just got 1 leg on. I'm gonna get the other 4 on, and then we'll go on to the next step. All 4 legs are on, and it's time to move on to the next step. I can see where this grill gets a lot of its weight from, which is in the base and the legs. But our next step is flipping it upside down, and then we're gonna put the lower shelf on. So let's find the lower shelf, which I do not remember seeing when I was unboxing stuff. So now we will be on a scavenger hunt for the lower shelf. So I found it. I realized, looking at the SloRoller, you might not notice it, but it's taped here on the back side. So your underneath shelf for the cart is gonna be on the other side of this cardboard, which is just on the other side of your SloRoller. For the washers and screws for the lower shelf, they only give you the exact amount, so be careful, don't lose them. Let's see, so you've got the nice Kamado logo on the shelf as well. So when we're putting this on, remember we want to make sure that it's upside down, but where do I want the Kamado logo to face? front side of my grill is going to be right here. So what I'm gonna do is take this, and when you see it, line it up with my pull-out ash drawer, and then I'll get this tied in this way. So something the instructions doesn't tell you that I'm learning as I'm putting this together, and I'm just kind of being stubborn and forcing it here, is probably want to just put the legs on a little loosely. That way it gives you some more flexibility when putting this lower shelf on, whereas I'm just kind of using my strength to push it into place. There we go. So our next step is going to be to put the wheels on, which means that we are definitely getting much closer to things. So looking at our wheels, you've got wheels with the locking caster and then wheels without that. So we're going to put the locking casters here on the front side, so make sure that you find where your slide out ashtray is, so that way you can put your locking casters on the front wheels. And this is similar to when you're assembling the ceramic grills. If you've assembled one of those before and are getting this as a second grill, give you the little wrench, just hand tighten them all the way. Can I double fist get two wheels at the same time? They're gonna move me out of doing these videos and then into assembly. We'll be putting the handle on the dome. We've got our handle, and then this piece from earlier in the video where I said I don't know what this is. This looks like the back side of it, which goes inside the dome. There's 3 of these bands that come packaged. So the skinniest one is going to be in the shortest one. So if you're like, I'm not sure which one's the skinniest one, but you should be able to tell it's this one over here in my right hand. That skinniest one is going to go and match up here with the handle. So when you put the handle on, just remember one side's got the Kamado Joe logo on it, and because the dome's upside down, you want that logo face down, so that way it's right side up when you assemble it. So now I got those there. We'll use our Allen wrench. It wants us to put the hinge on the dome while it's still disconnected, so we're going to do that first. We'll need, out of the remaining 2 bands, the one that's got 2 holes in it. And you'll see the 2 holes here, so that is definitely the right band that we need. They definitely are giving you exact on the nuts and bolts, so treat them as precious cargo. I know I said that once earlier, but if you tend to drop and lose things, it will not be good. If you have a second set of hands when you're putting the hinge on, that's going to be the easiest thing. So this is just going to take me probably a couple minutes to get this figured out. I might end up needing a second set of hands. That's okay, because I got that one on, so I should be able to get this one on. All right, so I did get it, which is good. Get that one on there. All right, it is now time to attach the dome to the base. So first thing we're gonna do is flip this right side up. I'm just gonna put the caster locks on before I flip it over, so that way it doesn't try and scoot away from me. This isn't gonna be too bad. Kind of just roll it. And there we go. That's right side up. Grab the dome here. And this looks to be my front. So we'll line this up. Oh. Get that face forward for you guys. Before you put your hinge on, just check and see if it's in the actual like lowest position. Since it's an adjustable hinge for the SloRoller, you just want to make sure when you're assembling it that you at least have it in the right position that it needs to be, so you can get this thing on there. There we go. Okay. So the booklet doesn't have you, but a socket wrench is going to come in handy for this part. Now it looks like our next step is going to be using our last little band on the inside of the grill. So for the last pieces to screw on here, we've got the bracket, the screw, and then the lug nut caps. The lug nut caps are going to go here on the inside. So we've got the grill pretty much assembled. Now it's just time to put the guts and the side shelves on, which that's going to be a really quick process. So let's go ahead and get that stuff put together, and then we're going to talk about the grill. The first thing we're going to do, now that we've got it all put together, is throw the ash drawer in there. Slide that right on in. Now we'll put Firebox basket in there. So we've got the Firebox basket ready to go. It's just time to put our multi-piece ceramic Firebox pieces actually in there. What's nice about the Firebox basket on this is that it's designed with grooves, so these just sit right down in there, and you don't have to fiddle with a ring like on the ceramic grills. There isn't a Firebox basket like this, so that's also something that's different in the innovation. And they all fit in there nicely, just like that. So now we're ready to put our grates in. And get our grates right in there. And if you got your divide and conquer, your two-tier cooking system just like that. We'll get this right. The side shelves, these are just like, they go on just like on the other Kamado grills. There we go. Let's get it cleaned up, and we'll start going through all the features and play around with the SloRoller a little bit too. And just to show you, you've got nothing left over. So again, treat it like precious cargo. Do not lose the nuts and bolts that they give you, because there are no extras in here. I almost forgot before I get into the components of the grill that Kamado Joe has made a couple changes to how these units function and assemble and put together, and I just want to make sure I touch on that. I'm going to kind of read them off so that way I don't get anything wrong, and I'm sharing the best information with you. So you probably saw me struggle to put the top on here and get it to turn a little bit. There's the tabs on it. They said that in the initial run that this grill came from, that they're a little too long, so the way to fix it is just grind them down. But in the new units, it'll be fixed, so that way that's something that will easily rotate and kind of spin around. So that shouldn't be anything of concern. The thermometer here, they said that they've upgraded it and gone to a different model on it. It might look the same in general, but the one that you see on this grill here is just going to be a little bit different. At least you might not be able to tell from the video itself, but on the next runs that come in. Other things, the side shelves, they said, will be a little bit more sturdy, and that's something that I'll get to kind of in my analysis of this grill and what my first impressions are of it. But that is something, as I was putting this together, that I noticed seems a little flimsy, but they did say that they are going to beef these up in their second production run when those come in. A few other things will just be really when it comes to assembling the grill itself and the fitment of the different nuts and bolts and things, that they're just making a couple alignment adjustments, and that's going to be for the most part all the changes to the grill. And then we haven't gotten into it yet, but they did say that the hinge pin is they're gonna modify that a little bit and it will be an even easier experience. So I just wanna make sure I went through those changes with you before we jump into the grill. So I'll put this over here, and then going into the grill itself, the first thing that I notice is that this is a low sitting grill. Now, kettle grills are not very tall grills to begin with, but for reference, I'll put this shelf down and stand right next to it. I'm 6'4", 6'5" on a good day, but we'll go with 6'5" in the video. So you can see kind of where this grill sits, and that it's a little bit lower. It's nothing crazy in terms of when you're using a spatula and tongs and everything. It's not too low, but I do like my grills to sit up a little bit higher. And for the ceramic grills, those do sit up a little bit taller. I just don't have one here to slide it right next to and compare for you. But that is something that I kind of noticed right off the bat. Putting it together though, the grill for the most part does seem pretty solid. It seems well built. It is a heavy grill. I said that when it was in the box. There wasn't really a lot of excess packaging. It was just a little bit of cardboard and styrofoam in the box. So it's a pretty solid grill. I like the build of it. So I've got really no gripes or complaints there. It's nice that you get the lower shelf. You know, that's a feature on the 3rd generation ceramic grills that people really love that you don't get on the 2nd generation ceramic grills. So I do like that you've got some nice shelf space down there. One thing I did notice as a difference between the ceramic grills and the Kettle Joe here is while they both have a slide out ash drawer, the slide out ash drawer on the Kettle grill here just has a little bit of a lip that you pull out, whereas on the ceramic ones, it kind of has a nice little loop that sticks out and makes it a little bit easier to grab it. It's nothing I'd be overly concerned with or that would deter me from getting the grill one way or the other. It's just a difference that I noticed between the two grills. But overall, it's still nice to have the slide out drawer because not having it, getting in there with a rake and everything, it's not fun. So I do like that feature that they have. I just talked about the shelves and said that Kamado Joe is going to be making them beefier on their 2nd production run, which are going to be the units that we get here at Just Grill and Outdoor Living. This was just a demo unit that they gave us ahead of time to be able to talk and show the grill a little bit more. These are a little bit flimsy here, so it'll be nice to see, and it is a welcome sight to hear that they have recognized that and are going to make these beefier, just because I don't know how much weight you could really put on them here. They do seem a little, I guess, rickety, maybe. It might be too harsh of a term here. But I will say it is overall just nice to have side shelves. If you've owned a kettle grill, there's nowhere to put anything. So if you don't have shelf space or counter space or anything nearby, it's hard to hold everything. So it is nice to at least put some tools. You've got the tool hooks here on the front as well, so you can hang them if your tools have loops, and then put your plates or put your serving tray or whatever it is that you might have by the grill just right next to it. So that is a nice feature as well. Going inside the grill comes with 2 half-moon grates, which is on the ceramic grills. They do the half-moon cooking systems. You've got 2-tier cooking that you can do. It's a nice big grill that you have here. I actually had that one upside down. Pulling those out, you've got the multi-piece ceramic firebox, which is nice because you really shouldn't have any issues of those ever breaking unless you just constantly are always taking those out when you clean the grill and somehow drop one on your own. And then rather than a metal fire grate down at the bottom, just like in the charcoal baskets, which is a very popular accessory on the ceramics, you've got the stainless steel grated bottom right there, so it's going to help you with your airflow, and it's going to allow your charcoal to get lit much faster. And then also it's going to help more of the ash fall through there, so when you are raking through there and stirring through there, mixing up the charcoal, that your ash is going to fall right down there, so cleanup is going to be really easy. I'm going to open up this half-moon cast iron grate, and we're going to see. Now this was something that Kamado Joe said was not going to be the case, but some of the people and influencers that have gotten their hands on the grill before this have reported being able to do this. If you come inside, you can see that you can actually rest some of the half-moon cooking surfaces right on top of the amp firebox, the multi-piece firebox in there. So you actually can use some of these grates if you already own them, or if you were looking to just add a different surface. But the other way that you can obviously, if you really wanted to use another surface, is get it a little bit away, is just put the grate in, and then you could just put it right on top. That's obviously something that you can do no matter where the actual stainless steel grate is in there, because it's gonna always be there for a support. So that is nice, but if you were just wanting to single-handedly use the grate on its own, you can see that it fits in there nicely. And all the Half Moon cooking grates for the Classic are gonna be the same size. So if that was the soapstone, you could use that, the reversible griddle, you name it, the list goes on when it comes to that. But some of the other things like the Jotisserie and the Dojo, that's not something that's gonna be compatible or work with that. All right, so I'm gonna play around with the SloRoller and see how easy it is to install it. So the cooking grates that come with the grill are what sit on top of the SloRoller. So I'm gonna grab the other pieces and just kind of move them over here, which is a nice big beefy piece. I'm gonna put the SloRoller on there. I'm gonna see how hard it is to really do this. I said Kamado Joe is planning on adjusting the pin back here, but we'll see how hard it already is to do this. I don't think it's gonna be anything. So I've loosened the knob in the back, and then pulling from the pin, it seems like it comes up pretty easy. Well, finding it to get in the right groove might be the only thing, but just play around with it a little bit, and then remember to lock the knob back here. Right on top. Just like that. Got our deflector plate. It's got these little tab holes right here. It's not on all 4 of the rests for it. There's on 2 of them, so you just line it up with that. Get those on there. And then put our grates in there. Let's see. I think that was pretty easy. I'll just rotate it so that way it's symmetrical for the people that want their grates always going front to back. And then, yeah, the lid goes down on it. It looks like a pretty good fit all the way around. It seems pretty easy. So to be able to go from grilling to low and slow cooking on this grill, that doesn't seem like it's going to be much of a problem at all. I do like that this is a 22-inch cook surface as well, 22 in diameter. That's bigger than the classic grills that Kamado makes on the ceramic side. So you're able to fit a little bit of bigger cuts on here. So depending on the brisket maybe that you have on there, you might be able to stuff a couple extra butts on there without really having to use any other accessories. Now, I talked about being able to use some of the cooking grates and things. It does not look like that you're going to be able to use one of the grill expanders on here. This seems too shallow of a dome compared to the ceramic grills, but I do have one of the expanders, so let's throw it on here and see if it works. I'm going to grab an expander. Got the classic grill expander. Let's take a look and see if this works. So lining it up. Well, the grill does close with it, so it might actually work a little bit. I'm gonna take a peek in by taking the top off here. You are pretty close to the top there. For reference, I'm just gonna dip my hand in here. So the furthest part of my finger right here to right here, measuring that out. So you got about roughly that much of a gap between the top of the dome and then the grate for the expander. So if you're doing something small like chicken fingers, chicken wings, or ribs, I've got chicken fingers on the mine, clearly, you know what I'm getting for lunch today. But if you're doing like a pork butt or a brisket or something, I don't think you're gonna be able to use the expander for that, because I just don't think the lid's gonna close. But for chicken wings, ribs, something that's small like that, I definitely think that you could probably use the expander. So that's a nice bonus feature as well, or added accessory that you can pull over from the regular Kamado line. My overall first impression seeing this grill finally in person, it's it's a well-built grill. The only thing I said that seemed a little flimsy maybe was the side tables. It's really not that big of a deal. At $499 bucks, a $500 grill, that is a great price point. It's almost an impulse purchase, to where it doesn't matter what I have. If I want a charcoal grill, it's just a great grill to add to the arsenal. Definitely come check these grills out. We're gonna put this demo unit in our store for a couple of weeks first before we start cooking on it. I said that at the beginning of the video. We were not gonna be cooking on it in this video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. We are gonna be dropping some recipe videos, like I said, in the coming weeks on the Kettle Joe. So when you're subscribed, you're gonna get that notification as soon as it hits. If you got any questions on the grill, just leave them in the comments below. Give us a call, come see us in store. We'd be glad to answer them. Hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.